Morning, friends. I have Tansy here with me today.
Hello.
Welcome. We'll go through a quick practice, a vinyasa flow practice focusing on shoulder openers. Tansy, let's start in child's pose, please. Just come down onto the knees, put your forehead onto the floor. So we're not going to be here for too long, but just long enough to establish the centered quality that is so important for yoga. And the centered quality just means that you're here in both body, mind, and even in spirit. So all the different compartments that build and make up the complex phenomena called the human being, kind of like the different players in a band, all start to sync up and play the same song, the same rhythm, so the magic can start happening. And just begin to focus on your breath, deep inhales and long exhales with that slight oceanic sound at the back of the throat. The arms are really straight and strong and the core is slightly engaged. On the next inhale, come on up to tabletop position, hands and knees. So the knees slide in just a little bit. Now let's straighten the left leg behind us. The left toes will hover off the floor and reach your right arm forward. So you're going to lean into the left palm. And there's no dipping in the middle of the back, or try to minimize that best as can be, so the front ribs are hugging towards one another. Let's see if you can bend your left knee, reach your right arm back and grab your ankle. So still, we're trying not to turn the right shoulder open to the right. So both shoulder heads face towards to the floor. If possible, you could lift that left heel just a little bit higher. Push the shin away from you. One more inhale. Get straight on the right arm forward, left leg back, and then put everything down onto the floor. And then let's do the other side. So right leg goes behind you, lean into the right palm, extend the left arm forward. So you usually start by finding stability. Just like if you were to build a house, you make sure that you dug the hole, you got the plumbing down, the wiring down before you start adding the windows, the chimneys, and all the fancy stuff. Bend the right knee as you're ready. Reach back, grab your ankle. So you guys can see it's a lot of strength and support in that right hand. The bicep side of the arms roll slightly forward. The shoulders even out towards to the floor. The hips are leveled. Heel could lift a little bit higher. Nice. And then inhale, reach the arm forward, reach the leg back, and put everything down onto the mat. Beautiful. Just a couple of cat-cows. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Let's just do one more. Inhale, shoulder heads roll down. Try not to rush these. And exhale, hug the belly to the spine. And take cow again. Tuck your toes under. And then slow motion, pull your butt back to downward facing dog position. So the palms are flat. The fingers are spreading wide. Armpits stay a little bit hollowed, and there's just a lot of space between the hips and the armpits. Heels are heavy, backs of the legs get long. Slide your toes a little bit closer together and float your right leg up behind you. Nice. So see if you can keep that right leg lifted. Come into a plank pose, top of a push-up. Squeeze the right knee high up onto your right tricep. Make sure you're breathing. And step your right foot to the outside edge of your right hand. Good. And lean into your left palm. Take your right arm up towards to the sky. So it's a wide-legged twisting lunge. The right outer hip hugs back. And quite a bit of attention on the left thigh, left side of the abs. Now, without changing anything, just put your left knee onto the floor. Pick your left foot up again. Reach back with your right hand. You can grab the top of the foot, the ankle. There are different schools of thought on that one, whatever works in your body today. So it's not just the shoulder opener, you're also opening your thighs. And then without a sound, release your back foot down to the floor. See if you can come down to the forearms, inside edge of that right foot. And this is called lizard. There's a variation where you let the right knee kind of drop out to the right. For today, hug everything to the midline. And keep that breath cruising through your body. Great. Come back up onto your hands. Tuck your left toe under, lift your left knee. And we're going to take a quarter turn towards to the left hand side. So you're going to push your legs straight, parallel your feet, and interlace your fingers behind your tailbone. Yeah, this pose is called Prasarita Padottanasana, and we're adding the shoulder stretch, if possible, squeezing the heels of the hands together, relaxing the crown of the head towards to the floor, the inner arch of the feet are lifting, and the inner seams of the legs draw up towards to the pubic bone. So everything kind of centers at the midpoint of your body where Kundalini, the sleeping serpent, resides. And just softly put your hands onto your hips. On a large inhale, come on up all the way to stand and float your arms high towards to the sky. And then warrior two. Bend your right knee, turn your right toes forward, angle your back toes in. And keep those arms nice and long. Shoulders soften away from the ears. The outer hips are hugging in. And the breath is still deep. Turn the right palm to the sky and come into a reverse warrior. So the left hand slides down the left leg. The front of the hip bones lift up. Good. How about side angle pose? Right hand to the outside edge. Left arm reaches up and overhead. So side angle is an externally rotated pose. You want to rotate your bottom chest towards to the sky. And just making sure that the bottom side waist is just as long as the top side waist. Very easy to overextend the top and sort of shrink the bottom. Inner seam of the back leg lifting, inner arch of the back foot lifting. This looks great. Good. Let's bring it back to warrior two. So just a little bit lower. And now push your right leg straight, inhale. And reach for triangle pose. Put the right hand down onto the ankle, shin or floor. Left arm reaches up to the sky. So you guys can see Tansy kept reaching forward. That's again to emphasize the length on the right side of the body. Full length in the bottom side ribs. That's one of the most important part in triangle pose. And from here we'll move this into a half moon position. So as you're ready, bend your front knee. You want to slide that right hand about a foot out in front of you. Pour all the weight into your right foot. And you can start sliding the back foot in. Eventually, the left inner thigh lifts up towards to the sky. Flexing through the left toes. Finding that straight line between the left shoulder, left hip, and left ankle. Top arm unravels. And since we're focusing this class on shoulder openers and back bends, Chapasana variation if possible. Bend the top leg, reach for the thigh, or rather the ankle, or the top of the foot. And you're pressing that shin away from you, peeling the front body open, laser sharp focus. Left arm, left leg straight as you're ready. Left hand on the floor, level your hips, step the big toes together, bend your knees, chair pose. Okay, stay in chair, lift your heels off of the floor, so it's chair pose on your tiptoes. And squat all the way down, put your heels down, put your tush down, Navasana, boat pose. The legs lift out in front of you. Okay, and let's just do 3 repetitions. Ardha Navasana as you're ready. Legs forward, low back, middle back to the ground. And exhale, sit up from deep within your core. 2 more. Inhale. Lovely. Exhale. Last one of these. Inhale. Don't forget to smile. Exhale. And come all the way down onto your back. Good. Bring your knees in towards you. Give yourself a squeeze. Good. Grab the backs of your thighs. Rock back and forth a couple of times and see if you can come back to chair. If you need to use your hands, feel free. Yeah, beautiful. Nice. And then exhale, take a forward fold. Inhale, glance out, lengthen. Plant your palms. Step to a plank position and hold plank. So again, plank is a lot of core strength, a lot of strength in the legs. The arms are straight, the palms are flat. Lean a little bit more forward and then start bending your elbows, coming halfway down. That's an exhale. Roll over your toes, take a cobra, an upward dog. Let the shoulder heads roll down the back. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog. The hips lift to the sky. The neck is soft and the head is dropping low. Float the left leg up behind you, three-legged dog. Shift into plank position. Lovely. Squeeze the knee high up onto your left tricep and step the foot down to the outside edge. Keep the right hand down, left arm reaches up to the sky. Find your twist here. So this pose is Vashisthasana, side arm press in the right hand. The right shoulder slides down the back. And the top arm is just reaching. You'll notice that the more you can energize your fingers and the more vibrantly you can reach, the less weight you have to carry with your right hand. Let the back knee softly fall to the floor. Reach back, lift the foot up, grab the ankle or the top of the foot. I hope you guys can hear the sounds of the birds. They are providing a natural soundtrack. Sounds of nature. Let the back foot go. Both arms to the inside edge of the left foot. Come down to your elbows, lizard. The left knee just gently pulling towards to the left shoulder. Back of the neck stays long. I like to keep a little bit of a cobra position in the upper back, especially because we're focusing on back bends and shoulder openers in this one. Come up onto your hands, tuck the right toe, and then let's take that quarter turn over towards to the right side again, and interlace your fingers the upward way behind your tailbone. Send your knuckles up and overhead. So again, inner arches of the feet stay lifted, and those knuckles are just dropping away from your tailbone. Nice. Put your hands on your hips. Very slow, long inhale. Rise on up to stand. Float your arms above you. Keep inhaling. And then Vira 2. Bend the left knee. Point the left toes forward. Angle your right toes in slightly and open those arms. So in a good vinyasa flow practice, the goal is to make your practice feel effortless. I always compare yoga to, the rhythm of life, just like days and nights. Usually we don't complain that it's night. It feels good after the day. And here too, one pose sort of sets up the other. So, before you feel a little bit too much like, oh my God, I need the change starts happening. Let's put it into reverse. Big inhale. Right shoulder softens down the back. Front knee bends a little bit more. And then reach forward, put the left hand down, side angle position. The right arm will reach up and overhead. So there's a rotation in the right arm. The right tricep draws towards to the face. The right thumb faces up towards to the sky. Outside edge of the back foot presses down. And the side ribs just keep getting long. So you don't just move into a pose and don't do anything. I mean, in your mind, you want to kind of not do anything. It's a state of meditation, but the pose has a very, very active quality throughout the time that you're in it. Warrior 2, pushing the left heel away, come on up. Sit a little lower into that Warrior 2. Next inhale, push your front leg straight, and then triangle. So reach way out in front of you. And let that left hand fall as the right arm reaches up. So one of my favorite poses. I could stay here for a very long time without too much effort. It's just so supported and open. Really, it's a moving meditation. When people ask me, do you sit down and meditate? Sometimes I do, but for me, letting my body move and then let my mind relax just makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so right hand, right hip. If possible, maintain the open rotation of chest, bend the front knee, slide the left hand or foot forward, and step up half moon. The inner thigh lifts off of the floor. So always take your time, especially with these bigger poses, finding your balance, finding your breath. And when you're ready, bend that top leg, grab the foot, grab the ankle, maintaining the focus and a balance. Good, right hand down to the floor, level your hips out, and chair pose, step the big toes together. Good, bend your knees, sink your hips, reach your arms. And let's just take a forward fold. Inhale, look forwards, lengthen. Plant your palms, step to plank pose. Tone your abs, retone your low back muscles. And as you're ready, on an exhale, shift forward, chaturanga. Inhale, coming up to the cobra or the up dog, toes, fingers spread. And then downward facing dog, lift your hips high to the sky. Beautiful. And then put your knees down onto the floor. Put your forearms down onto the floor. Now let's come into forearm plank position. So just send your legs back behind you. A little bit more core strength here. So what you want to make sure of is that your hips and your tailbone is not too much higher than your shoulders. Essentially the same height. And the elbows hug back to the toes are hugging towards to the elbows, the back of the neck stays long. So Tenzi has a lot of core strength. She would probably stay here all day. But for the sake of this video, we're going to drop the hips down towards to the floor. And then put your forehead onto the floor. Slide your arms down by the side of your body. And bend your knees and grab your ankles. Yeah, both ankles at the same time if you can. And then you can again point your toes, flex your toes, whichever works best. You're going to lift your thighs off of the floor and start pushing your shins back. So you're really using the power of your legs. The rest of your body is sort of along for the ride. Shins pressing back, shoulders are pulling open. Just a beautiful wide space. Take one more inhale here. And then softly release everything down onto the ground. Good. And then put your hands back onto the swings position. And draw your right knee to your right elbow. And thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. And you're just going to put your shoulders on the floor, reach your right arm back behind you. So you're coming into a twist. And you're going to pull your right hip back towards to the left. How you doing? Yeah. So in a twist, just the important thing is you want to lengthen the side, so the top hip moves down from the armpit, and preferably both shoulders are on the floor. Very good. Come back to your swings pose, straighten your right leg. Now let's take the other side. Left knee, left elbow, thread the right arm under, and swing that left arm back and behind you. Yeah, so just remember to let your top hip move back. We're soaking up a lot of the natural energies here. We have a lake behind us, birds. If you have an opportunity to practice outside once in a while, it can be a very intimate experience. You're connecting to nature, not necessarily on a conscious level, more on a subconscious level, but you certainly do. Your DNA recognizes that. Okay, let's come back to the swings position as you're ready. Nice, and then just slide your palms into a cobra pose, put your forehead onto the floor. Good, and in the next inhale, take the last cobra of this class. And then last down dog. Tuck the toes, lift your hips high. And start to walk your feet about halfway towards to your hands. And walk up a little further. Good. Bend your knees, have a seat, and lie down onto your backs. Good. Bring your knees in towards you. Wrap your forearms around your shins. And since we did lizard, we were working with the inner thigh. We also do happy baby. Grab the outsides of your feet. Draw the knees down. So the thighs want to get heavy here, and the tailbone stays down on the floor. Shoulders stay down on the floor. Nice. And then lengthen your arms and your legs towards to the sky. And just wiggle everything. You can make a funny sound here if you like. Nice, and then let everything fall. Shavasana, final resting pose. Feel free to take 5, 10, 15 minutes if you have an opportunity to melt and relax. And just remember that yoga is the same as brushing your teeth or combing your hair or taking a shower. You do it every day. It's a maintenance. It's a part of your routine. And you're mainly taking care of your internal organs, your cells, your mind. Taking a time to really breathe consciously and turn your attention inwards. So the attention is on you. Spotlight is on you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below. If you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear it. Thank you for Tanzi. Namaste.